Welcome, everybody, to Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, Lady JB Owen, and I'm super delighted to be here because we get to talk about humanity today and how to ignite it. Each and every day we show up to talk about ways for you to ignite humanity in your life, and it all starts with you. It starts inside of you uplifting and encouraging your life to be exactly what it is you want, doing the things that you enjoy and the things that you love. And that gives you the idea and to shine out to others to do things that they love. And that's how we're going to ignite humanity, through the power of one another. And the way that we love to do that here on the show is to talk to amazing guests and hang out with them and find out what they've been doing, what they're up to, and how they do things in their lives to ignite the lives of others. And we do that through their Ignite moments, those powerful moments that have changed and transformed them and inspired them and made them wake up to the possibility of what's possible in their lives. And that gives each and every one of us the opportunity to do the same in our lives. And it's all about awakening. It's about love, empowerment, and connection. We're going to be talking about love today. We're going to talk ways to do things differently and how you can ignite your life through, well, songwriting and singing and enjoyment and entertainment and touching the lives of others in unique ways. So strap on your seatbelt and hang on. It's going to be a really great show because what we want to do is show you folks that anything is possible in your life and you can do your dreams. You can go after your aspirations and you can do the things that you love. And when you do that, you inspire others. You make them realize that they can do the same. And that really creates a trickle effect, a ripple effect in igniting the lives of others and igniting humanity. Well, if you'd like to know more about how we're igniting humanity and what we're up to, please check out our website because we've got all kinds of information about our TV show, docuseries, and our amazing compilation book that we're doing, talking about Ignite moments and Ignite stories called Ignite Humanity. And you could be a part of it. Go check out our website. All right, well, let's find out about our amazing guest that we have today. Miss Beatrice Love is a singer-songwriter, and she is from Treaty 8 territory. She identifies and believes in the power of hope, deliverance, and redemption. Her faith carries and sustains her through her journey of growing up Indigenous and overcoming many challenges from addiction to homelessness. Beatrice is a living witness that anything is possible when one has faith and believes. Beatrice is a self-taught vocalist. The love for music was planted in her heart from her father, who's been a lifelong musician, and her purpose focuses on honesty, recovery, and acceptance. Beatrice uses these life experiences to empower, motivate, and encourage others. We are so delighted to have her on the show. Here she is. Welcome, Beatrice, to Ignite Humanity Live.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me today.
I'm so delighted to speak with you, and it's kind of fun because we're neighbors. We're not far from each other, about an hour away. So hello, neighbor. How are you? I love that you're on. Yeah, it's fabulous. I love that you're on the show, and I'd love to dive right in. Singer, songwriter. Talk a little bit about that because I know that's the creative side of the brain. Really, there's a lot of soul and spirit that comes into singer songwriting. How long has this been a part of your life, singing songs and writing them?
I've sang songs my whole life, but in terms of writing songs and becoming what people would identify as a songwriter, I would say maybe 4 years ago is when I really started to develop that skill set.
You know, we talk about Ignite moments on the show, and those are those moments that kind of wake you up and something very pinnacle happens in your life to say, I'm never going to do that again, or I'm absolutely going to do that again. Do you remember the Ignite moment that really made you decide you wanted to make singer-songwriting part of your future?
I can't put my finger on it particularly with that, but I can say the moment, the life-changing moment was back in May 2017 when I decided that a life of sobriety was the life that I needed. And that was the moment that changed everything. And thus enabled me in my sobriety to be able to do things like write an album.
Bravo. Of course, and congratulations on your sobriety. We so always want to congratulate you for that. And through some of that, I'm sure your songs have been inspired. I'm sure you've been able to put part of your journey into your songwriting. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I think what saved my life essentially with all of the darkness, right, and life happening on life's terms, music was definitely the catalyst that propelled me to the willingness to want to unlearn and learn new things, and essentially was the thing that moved all of this negative energy out. And so every time I sing a certain song, so I wrote a song called Walk with the Devil, about my walk with the devil. So every time I sing that song, I remember where I went and playing the tape to the end, and how powerful, a relapse could be, and how it could destroy my life in an instant again. Right. And so just always having this relationship of openness and honesty, and having the ability and the bravery to write a song so vulnerable. Those songs are on my album, and I think that the album in and of itself was so instrumental in helping heal the past, and getting me to this point where I feel empowered and I feel ready and I feel like I could take on the world and I can sing on any stage now, and it's all started because of that honesty on that record.
I so appreciate that because I love publishing. We help people publish their stories, and songs are also stories, and songs help relay the journey. And just like writing, when you talk about the journey and you are vulnerable about the journey, there's this healing process. Can you share a little bit about that? Because a lot of people are holding back their story, or they're not wanting to reveal some of their vulnerability. And I'm sure you, just as you shared, some of that has helped you feel that confidence and that self-worth and that willingness to walk onto the stage.
Absolutely. And like what I'm hearing there is it reflects back to me where I was at that point where the story, it wasn't ideal at certain parts, right? And there's a lot of pain attached to that. And what comes with pain? Well, there comes shame, embarrassment,
Mhm.
rejection, and all these other not so great feelings and emotions. So that's the part that I wanted to hide for a really long time. And as I wrote these songs and continue to sing them out and about, there's this beautiful thing. Some of it was pretty radical and some of it took some time, but this acceptance to hold space and to honor each part of the story, even though it wasn't ideal, right? So I really believe that it's an exposure, right? Putting yourself out there and speaking or saying your truth is a vulnerable thing, and it is an exposure. But there is also a reward from bringing it to the light and allowing the light to neutralize the power that keeping it in the dark has.
I so agree. Now, I've never written a song, but I've written many, many stories. And I also know that there's a part of you that feels like you get to a place where your story is no longer for you, it's for others, because you know your story can help them, guide them, and give them some ideas and some suggestions and pull them forward in a small way. Do you feel the same way about your song? How they get to a place where they were for you, but now they're for others?
Oh, 100%. When I wrote the album, I had to do it for me, right? I had to honor this part, this natural gift, this talent, and I just had to honor my story. So when I did write the album, absolutely, it was just for me. I never planned to release it. Matter of fact, I still haven't commercially released that one. I have a different plan for it. So people who would like to have the album are more than welcome to request that via email, and I will send a link for people to have a listen to it. But in terms of releasing it, no. But now looking at it, it's too powerful to keep to myself, right? And how I will gauge that truth is that when I'm out there and I'm singing the songs, and you can just see there's people in the room that are like, that's me, that's my story, that's my son, and so there is like this I think people are ready for real. I think people are ready for a new wave of, because we're at a different place now. It's time to move on a different rhythm, and I think just from my experience as a live performer, that's what people are resonating with is real.
I so agree. And so let's not hide the fact, let's shine the spotlight. You recently were televised and rise up to some celebrity status. You were recently on America's Got Talent. Can you share a little bit about that?
I was on
Sorry, not America, Canada. Sorry about that. Canada's Got Talent.
Yes, Canada's Got Talent. It was incredible. Oh my goodness, I tell you. Every artist, every little child that wants to sing up for the world one day, like we all just want that opportunity, have that, right? And I actually had mine. And I had a really great experience. I got 4 yeses on my first audition. I had a standing ovation from the crowd. I got to the semifinals, which was like a pretty big accomplishment in and of itself, considering there's thousands and thousands of auditions and there's 18 of us to make it through. So I already felt like, a champion.
Winner! Exactly! Superhero!
So the second song that I sang was a original. It's my part of my song Warrior, and was just this beautiful offering to the people. And so I really felt like I did my part in encouraging others and doing honoring my gift. And they did a really beautiful portion of storytelling, and they told my story with like such care and concern and like dignity. It was just very tasteful. It was very beautiful. I like cried watching it, like, oh my gosh, I don't think I could have done any better, you know? It was such a great moment for me. My life has imploded as a result. I did not win, nor did I go to the finale, but it still changed my life. Absolutely, 100%.
And it's interesting because a win is just, there's something that we define as a win, but I'm sure you can agree that there was so much other winning that came of it other than that particular win. And I know I've been in situations where I didn't win or I didn't get the award, but the process of going through was the gift and the treasure and such the blessing. And I'm sure, as you said, life has beautifully blown up in wonderful ways since then. Is there anything that happened that has been unexpected but beautiful and a blessing in return?
Oh, for sure. So I don't know how it is in the rest of the world, but in Canada, all the industry will meet once a year, usually in Toronto, at Canadian Music Week. So again, most artists would like an opportunity to showcase. So because I was on Canada's Got Talent, it kind of like propelled me into conversations and in rooms that otherwise I probably wouldn't have been. So then I got invited to be like on a panel opposed to performing, which is like, I'm not going to say jumping over paying my dues, but but it kind of feels that way, right? You walk in and people are like, Beatrice, inviting me to all this stuff and inviting me to all these events and stages. And it's a really beautiful thing. I've had people reach out to me. I've had 2 or 3 ghostwriters reach out to me wanting to write my first book. I have had meetings with record labels. I've had meetings with lawyers. Like there's just a lot behind the scenes that has come as a result of this. So like you said, even though like I didn't get to say I'm 2023 Canada's Got Talent champion, I have absolutely won 100%. And even for me to be on that stage, considering where I was 6 years ago, which was homeless and addicted to drugs, and to see the transformation over 6 years and to be standing on a stage like that and to handle myself with such grace and oh my goodness, I don't know if you want to watch it back, but I don't think it was very much short of like the biggest moment of my life. It was incredible. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of it.
Amen to that. I love that. And let's segue a bit because many people hear about other people's successes. They think that they're lucky. They think that they're privileged. They think that, it was easy for them. And I'd love to take a moment to share about there was a time when it wasn't so easy, that life was a little bit more difficult, and you became the hero of your story, not the victim of your story.
Absolutely. Yeah. So at 30 years old, I'll just start at the end of it's pretty normal for every person in the Indigenous community. I don't know anybody who has never been addicted to drugs or alcohol or all 3, gambling, whatever. It's like there's a lot of trauma and precursors to set you up into a position of basically destruction. And I was no different. I did not escape that, right? So at 30, I was sitting in a big mess. And I realized in an instant, it was so bizarre, that moment of enlightenment where it was like, oh my gosh, I have all this power, but I have done nothing with it but destroy and destruct. And going into detox with this willingness to do absolutely anything to learn how to become my ally was like the biggest transitional point. It was the thing that changed my life. And then really stepping into learning how to have that relationship with myself and how to take care of myself and how to nurture and love and all these wonderful things that nobody really talked about in my life. And over through the years, you know, went back to high school. I didn't even know you could have a Governor General Academic Medal. Apparently, I got one for that institution for that year, which was pretty cool. I wrote this album. Then I went to do a life coaching diploma, but I actually extended it to become a wellness counselor, which was I just fell in love with the program. It was so beautiful. And then after that, I had another baby. And then I went back to school again. And I have a national Indigenous professional artist training program from the Nowkin Center in partnership with the University of Victoria, which I got a certificate of Indigenous fine arts from. And then Canada's Got Talent happened, right? So I put in all this work, both personally, professionally, and, you know, over time, just really developing the purpose, right? And sowing, you know, you sow so that you reap a harvest. And sometimes the harvest doesn't come when we want it to. The harvest will come when it's time, right? And so I really feel like at 6 years clean, now is the time to really, all the doors are opening in the right way at the right time when my heart posture can handle it and my healing journey can sustain it. And my beliefs in myself and my capabilities is going to be the leader in this whole situation, right? So yeah, it's been a big transition. Like, it's not something that happens overnight. Like, I mean, everybody wants it to happen overnight, I think. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of hard work. Who shows up consistently? Who's going to continue to show up and do the thing, right? And who's going to do, sometimes it's not fair, you know that, but sometimes we don't win when we know we should have. So, and that's okay. And we have to understand how to learn to lose with grace, right? That's one thing that people don't understand. I learned how to lose with grace, with tears in my eyes, behind the scenes, when nobody, the world wasn't watching, right? And I cried and I felt rejected and I felt embarrassed. And I said, man, I thought I was a great vocalist and I don't know how this happened. And I processed that out privately so that when it was time for somebody else's time on a big national stage like Canada's Got Talent, I was able to stand with grace. And it wasn't even losing, but it's somebody else's time, and that's okay, right? So there's just been a lot of like and healing and growing behind the scenes that has prepared me for this moment right now. And a lot of paying the dues, girl. I don't know how many stages I've gone to where they're like, hey, here's your space. Do not step off this space. I'm like, this is like 1 foot. They're like, yeah, don't move. I'm like, oh, okay. Where's the monitor? Sorry, we don't have a monitor. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, do you have a microphone? Sorry, you're going to have this one little speaker and this is where you stand. And this is what, I'm like, okay, great. Then you go on a big stage with no sound guys, or they don't, you know, and you pay your dues in places like that, on stages like that, so that once stages like Canada's Got Talent comes, you can handle yourself, right? Again, that is a season, the time of preparation. I believe that a lot of us are naive to that. And so was I, until I learned, like, looking back in hindsight, I'm like, all of those crappy stages with the crappy sound and the crappy this and the small crowds that didn't care whether I was there, that was all necessary to be able to stand on a stage like Canada's Got Talent and hold it down. So process, right? Process and work at every stage. And a season of waiting is not a season of no, right? Sometimes we have to have that waiting season before we can step into this kind of purpose.
You said so many beautiful things in that, and I want to thank you so much. One that I love the most is you said, I found, learned, to discover how to love myself and be my greatest ally and use my assets. I thought that was so fantastic, because many times it's true, we are our own worst enemy. We work against ourselves and we don't realize the power that we have within ourselves. And so I really appreciate you saying that. And then sharing your journey, all the things that you've been through, so inspirational, because every single thing we do is a process, and nobody gets to the front of the line, to the top of the mountain, to be on stage without doing the work, without putting one foot in front of the other. So it's really beautiful the way that you shared that. I think anyone who's listening, who has the wish and has the dream and one day aspires to be where you are, really could learn from what you just shared, that it does take work, it takes tenacity, it takes willingness. And I think what you said the most was the humility and the humbleness that there is a process. We start out small, and we have to layer that upon the next thing and the next thing to get to where we are, to be what you said, be ready. And so, folks watching and listening to Beatrice, be ready for what's going to show up in your life. Be ready for the next thing. And Beatrice, I say prepare for your prayers, because when you pray for something and you really want it, and then it shows up, you've got to be prepared. So putting in all that time and that effort is so, so valuable. So anything to share with us about the future? What's next? What are you headed towards? What can you share that would ignite the inspiration in somebody listening?
All right. Well, I have a lot going on in the background. So I do have, I'm working with some grant writers to secure some money so that I can actually release some music out there. So I'm hoping that will be, the first track will be released for January 2024. In 2024, I also have my first documentary coming out. Right now, I'm filming and producing. So I will be a producer as well, apparently, after this is all said and done. And the documentary is actually called Becoming Her Ally. And it's my offering of what I've learned, just wanting to do a healing journey and wanting to honor who I am fundamentally and how to get there. Sometimes we don't know how to get there, right? So the whole Becoming Her Ally is like the mandate of my life. It's what keeps me clean. It's what keeps me sober. It's what keeps me on track, and understanding that my relationship with me has to come before my relationship with my husband, before my relationship with my children, my friends, et cetera, right? Because if I don't take care of me, then there's nothing, right? So yeah, it's a really beautiful and exciting time. So I'm hoping to have an EP out for 2024, excuse me. And my documentary is coming out. I have tons of live shows going on. Let me
ask you, sorry to interrupt, but let me ask you, sorry to cut you off. Can you share some of your wisdom for our listeners on some of the ways that they can sort of step forward? You've got lots going on, lots of achievement. I just would love to pull that nugget out of you, that the listener, the person hanging on your every word, what words of wisdom can you plant in them?
Ooh, well, if I could give myself a piece of advice, when I started the journey 6 years ago, it was like, learn to do it scared. Now, that is a natural human emotion, to feel that quiver in your spirit. Oh my gosh, can I do this? Or that anxiety. And let me tell you, the moment I realized that, I was like, yeah, okay, I see you, fear. Okay, I see you, anxiety. That's okay. You can come for the ride. You can strap in the front seat. Matter of fact, get in the passenger, put your seatbelt on. But you need to understand one thing. I'm in the driver's seat, right? So you can come, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to do it scared. I'm going to do it with my little anxiety. I'm going to do it with my little voice that says I can't, whatever. Y'all can come for the ride, but I'm going to do it regardless, right? And so really learning how to, because that voice will always come, right? Even on big stages, like that voice will always come. So we need to find a way to, like, not silence it, but balance it out where, yeah, that's okay. I feel you, acknowledge it, Kate, but we're going to move on. We're going to do it scared, right? So that was like one of the things I think if I had learned that a little bit sooner. And the reality is this: a no right now is not a no forever, right? Failure is part of everybody's story. Like, I'm gonna tell you, I'll use the recovery. I'm recovered. I'm in recovery now. I'm 6 years clean, but I failed 7, 8, 9 times at different detox, rehabs, all different things, and I didn't get it. Right. But the point was, I didn't quit. Right. And at one of those times, I finally got it. And now I have recovery. And that is part of building your character. It's a part of everybody's story. And the sooner that we have a better relationship, and we don't take it as a personal hit to our self-esteem, right? Something's wrong with me fundamentally because I couldn't do it that first time or that second time. No, babe, that's not at all what it is, right? That's how we grow. That's how we learn. That's how we develop. That's part of our life journey. It's called life on life's terms, right? So it's just, I would leave that with people. And at the end of the day, for example, regardless whether my husband hold my hand behind the stage at Canada's Got Talent, or my kids show up with big flags and, all their cheers and everything, at the end of the day, I have to be the person to give that to myself, right? I have to be the one to believe first, because if I don't believe, I can't make them believe. And it's not, it's not just people will disappoint you along the way, right? And so I always have to have the idea that no matter what, I got you. If we're going to fail, we're going to fail together. But we can't know what our potential can be without the willingness to fail, right? And it's not a bad, because if I hadn't failed all those times, I wouldn't have finally got to a point where I was like, okay, this is for me. And what is my heart motivation? Is to sing for the world? Is it about like all the glitz and glamour, or is it to give back what was so freely given to me, which was hope, which was love, which was power, right? All those songs back in the day that were my anthems that helped me through the hard days. That's why I love music, right? And so I really had to get fine-tuned with what the exact vision was. And without all of those failures and without those doors closing, I wouldn't have been able to get there. So I just want to remind people of that, right? And I want to normalize that. I want to be part of that. Like, hey, man, we wouldn't got to sit and look at all of our list of failures. But without those failures, we wouldn't have been able to know when it was success either, right? So they're necessary. They're hand in hand.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Well, Beatrice Love, you are taking the world by storm, and you are sharing your love, your singing, your songwriting, and we appreciate you so deeply. If you'd like to know more what Beatrice is up to and how you can follow her, check out her website and you can see everything she's up to. You will be hearing from her, I'm sure. You'll be hearing her sweet melodies, her music, and her message as she ignites the planet, inspires others, and is a true beacon of hope for all of us in recovery, overcoming challenges, and for the Indigenous community. Thank you, Beatrice, for being who you are. We so appreciate you. Congratulations, bravo, and thanks for being on our show.
Nice to meet you all. God bless you all. Take care of you.
Wonderful. As you can see, folks, it's not every day that it just happens overnight. It happens over a process. It's a process that you step into. And as Beatrice said so beautifully, you're willing to fail forward. You're willing to fail as many times as it takes to get you to the finish line. And you define your finish line. Nobody else says how you win. You decide how you win, and you make your win be yours and win for you. As you're winning in your life, you're igniting the lives of others, and we thank you for being a part of that process. If you'd like to watch this episode or any one of our other episodes, listening to our guests share Ignite moments and their powerful inspiration, go to our website and just sign on to our platform. We have all of our episodes available to you for free. We 100% want to give that to you, so something and one of our shows and one of our guests truly inspire you. And if you'd like to donate to our initiative, well, we are building schools in 12 countries, and I've just returned home from Indonesia. Just last week, I was able to spend some time building a school in Lombok, Indonesia for 113 children who have been using a pop-up school for the last 5 years due to the earthquake. It was such a rewarding experience, and it only made me make more schools, do more, build more, and ignite more children's lives. So if you'd like to be a part of that, you can always donate to our initiative. Just click on the link below. All right, well, lots of fun things are unfolding, so make sure you're back here tomorrow as we have our next guest on the show, and we do a little bit more to ignite humanity. All right, see you then. Take care.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.